Hi. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about week 12 of The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. Did it! Finally, it is done. Now, this is the third time that I have done this in the past like 25 years. And I've learned some things out of this. Like, I really have. First of all, many of the things that I do in my day-to-day practice were started because of this book 20 odd years ago. And I just kind of kept the same stuff. So it was really cool to see that when a task would come up and I'd be like, wait a minute, I do that. I've done that for like years. And I never knew where it came from. It came from this. So that's kind of cool. I've also learned that everything that she's speaking about here is the exact same thing that other people that I'm following is speaking about. It's all about manifestation and your creativity, and that we're creative energy and we come from the source. It's just different language and presented a different way. Because I did struggle for a little bit about the whole artist, recovering artist, as she would say, because I don't really consider myself an artist. But if I take away that little barrier there, I don't consider myself an artist. I can't paint, I can't draw, right? But if I take that away and I look at, wait a minute, I am a creative being. I have creative energy running through me because I'm an extension of source. So it would make sense, right? So artist, I kind of replaced with creativity, and then, your artist, your child within, your inner child again, right? That's how I kind of went forward with this. So I was okay. And she does reference God, but again, I don't do that. But I did the universe, the moon, the sun, the source, the all being. So it worked out well that way. So week 12 is about recovering a sense of faith. And when I first started reading it, she lost me. I was like, pfft, right? Because right away, faith, I go to God again, and like the religious aspect of it. But again, how she explains it is exactly what I feel is just using her language. So that's always really cool. And it's also really reaffirming and validating, and like another light on my path that I'm in the right direction. Make sure you hit subscribe, because my kid will get my tattoo of my little logo on him if I have 1,000 subscribers. So come on, help out a mother, right? Okay, so recovering a sense of faith is week 12. And she talks about creativity and how that requires faith. And how if we have faith, that's actually requiring us to let go of control. And how we don't like to be loss of control, and how we're resistant to that, and how things may come up to prevent that loss of control, which makes sense because having control, if we think about it, brain science, right, that sense of control is a sense of safety. When you know what's going to happen next, when you know what's going on around you, you're best to protect yourself. And that's one of our basic human needs, to protect self and also to connect with others. Anyway, so that kind of made sense to me, right? And then how she was talking about how, we basically believe, I think she says it right here, I wrote it out, that we believe that we're not supposed to be bountiful and live, that we're supposed to do a duty and serve and then we die. Basically what she thinks that we believe. I guess that's maybe what religious and Christian people believe. That's not what I believe. But we actually are meant to be bountiful and to live and to experience. And how basically she says how we, not me, but how people think that it's God's will for us to not get our desires, that having our desires is bad. And that we should be dutiful, not bountiful. That was kind of like her language and the way she was going with that. She lost me and all of that. But then she quoted Joseph Campbell, and he said, "Follow your bliss, and doors open where no doors opened before." And it kind of, that supports the whole Abraham Hicks, just feel the emotion, be that emotion. If you feel it, it will manifest, right? But you got to get there first, and that feeling, that vibration. And so once you're there, follow your bliss, be happy, be joyful, be in the moment, experience, then all the goodness and everything you want is going to manifest. You don't have to worry about the how. So she's actually supporting what Abraham Hicks is talking about. And I thought that was pretty good. And it's all about, you need to feel better about yourself. Feel content, feel satisfied, feel happy, feel joyful. Feel like you're doing good. And then good things and what you want is going to manifest. It's all feeling that feeling first. So that was pretty cool. I related to all of that. Okay. Then she talks about creativity again, and how that's all human life, and how creativity actually begins in darkness like life, and how we need to let it sit in the darkness so it can actually, my language, but gestate, develop, kind of be creating. She used the example of a seed. So you plant seeds, and then, we wait, we get impatient, we poke at it and stuff, and dig it up to see if it actually little sprouted roots. We can't dig it up, right? So we have to give time for these ideas to hatch. That was her word. And then she also used the idea of baking bread. I really liked this idea, and I'm actually going to use this in other things in my life. Just the idea of baking bread. Okay, so it's like your ideas, they need time to rise. And you put your dough and you cover it up in the darkness and you give it time to rise. So it's safe and it's rising, developing in the darkness, and then you stick it in the oven, and again, it's safe and it's warm and it's like contained, and the idea is just getting stronger and stronger and developing while you give it time to be in that darkness and to bake. But if you open it up too soon, what can happen? The bread could collapse, right? Or it loses all its steam and then it gets a hole in the middle. Again, what can happen with ideas if we try to implement them too soon when it's not ready, when the outside conditions are not aligned to what our desires are? Again, kind of referencing and going in line with the whole Abraham Hicks language. So that's really cool. I related to that. I'm actually kind of happy with that. Then she talks about imagination at play, which we know I really struggle with play. And I've been practicing. Isn't that kind of sad? I'm 49 years old and I'm practicing playing, but I'm doing it. And it's weird and it's hard, but laughing yoga is really helping with that. Just gonna do a little pitch for laughing yoga. So anyway, we talk about the hobbies and how hobbies bring us joy, and actually hobbies could be spiritual practice, and using the plant and just kind of being in that meditative state when you're tending to your artwork or your hobby, whatever that may look like. And it's all about play, and it's about being in the sense of now. And then she talks about, and I mentioned it a little bit just a few minutes ago, about the first rule of magic is self-containment. So again, you must hold your intention within yourself, and you must, let it sit there so it has the power to develop. So again, when she talks about escape velocity, about how basically your idea is starting to get momentum. That is not her language. That's Abraham Hicks' language. But how your ideas are just starting to grow, and it's just like blossoming. It's coming to life. And then all of a sudden, bing, she calls it a test, and that we either set ourselves up or expect to have a test, or a test just kind of goes in before us because that's the way it works. But that's not the way it works. That would be your own creation if you keep getting tests all the time. But it's the idea of, everything's going really good, and now you're going to go on your own business, but now you just got a huge raise at work, right? Or she made the example of you're about to marry your dream guy, and everything is great, and your wedding's around the corner, and then your ex calls, So it's kind of testing you. Do you really want what's about to happen? I don't believe that happens purposely. I think we create that. I think we set ourselves up expecting that's what's going to happen. That's what I think. Okay. So anyway, she went through all of that. And then she was talking about, part of that too is the wet blanket. That's her language. So we have people in our lives who really support us, who are our cheerleaders, who help us kind of, think through or call you on your shit or whatever it may be look like. We also have people in your life who are not helpful, who do not do what they do to support you. And so when we're kind of in that testing, a wet blanket could be a test. You could go to that person knowing they're not going to support you, validate you, celebrate you, whatever it may be, which could prevent from whatever happenings to unfold. So to just be aware of that. But like I say, I choose to be happy, and I'm seriously choosing not to talk about things that make me feel ucky and bad and angry. And I'm really avoiding like the social media shit that's happening and just letting it go, because you know what? I choose to be happy, and I'm just not going to engage in it. Okay, so that's that thing. And so now we basically get into the actual tasks. Task 1 was looking at your resentment, your fears, any anger you might have moving forward. And really the only thing that I can think that could be a hindrance would be what about money? Where do I get money from? I'll never make this. How much do you pay? Just the money aspect. But I've really been working hard on changing my relationship with money. It's my friend. It buys me things that I like and it makes me happy. It takes care of me. We're all good, money and I. But anyway, that's something that I'd be working at. Like, I don't know how much to charge. I don't know what to do. Like, and then that value, well, is that really worth that much money? Like, right? So that's something that I'll be working on. And also something, full disclosure. Okay, here you go. Here's something 10 minutes in. It's an honest moment. So this whole life coaching thing, you guys know, is new. That was not my plan when I started this a couple months ago at all. Although it feels like it was like years ago, but really it's only been a couple months since February. But it was never my plan to go that route, to be a life coach. I'm actually going to get my PhD, right? And, you know, get trained in sensory motor psychotherapy. Like, I had a plan of what I'm going to do. And then everything changed and everything feels right. And I feel really good, invincible, satisfied and content with where I'm at in my career with work and where I'm going professionally outside with my business. Like, there's just so much going on and I feel so good. But I didn't know that some people experience, you know, they become a coach and then they can't get clients. Like on Instagram, I see a lot of that, you know, how to set up your business. And it took me 2 years or 4 years or however it may be. And I'm like, I didn't know that was an issue. I thought you could, of course you get clients. Why wouldn't you? So like, here was my fear now, if you can see, the subconscious. So I don't want other people's beliefs that I never even held before. I never thought that you wouldn't get clients with a life coaching business. That never even dawned on me. Of course you would. There's so many people out there. I see so much evidence of people seeking out those services, of providing those services, of successes. Like, why would I think that you couldn't do it? Because Instagram, the fucking media, is telling me that you can't. So you better do this or you better do that because you're not going to be able to do this. And I'm like, well, I didn't even know. Ugh. See, right there was a total good example of what happens in your subconscious and how your subconscious, other people's bullshit beliefs, judgments, fears, opinions, and all that shit is in there and basically ruling what you do. But I refuse to accept that. I don't believe that it's hard or difficult to have a life coaching business and believe that I will be very successful. I already am. So why would I, you know what I mean? So that would be my fear. Resistance maybe of moving forward, but I have awareness of it. And actually, I'm not going to do it for you, but right here, if you can see, I actually went on a rampage rant about there's so many clients out there and how I'm not worried about that. And I'm actually excited and eager for it. And just went on for that, you know, over 68 seconds, making sure I did not keep that. Because then I started worrying, well, what if I keep thinking about it's hard to have, you know, get coaches and have a coaching business? That's like reinforcing that thought. So that's getting the momentum. And so that vibration is going out there to the universe that it's hard to get clients. No, I don't want that. So stop thinking about that. But oh my goodness, if I stop thinking about it, I'm thinking about stop doing it so that I am keeping it out there. Follow that? Total Abraham Hicks. It was like I was in the hot seat. If you guys follow Abraham Hicks, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So this whole thing I had to work through in my head. But right now, just know that I release all fears and doubts and all that holds me back. They are gone. And I trust the divine timing of my life. And I have no fear or concerns about this. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and everything is falling into place. So those are the kind of things and the affirmations that I'm going to be working on. Okay. Task 2 was areas of procrastination. Remember, procrastination is not a bad thing. It's not laziness. It's that you hit resistance, that there's something, a blockage, that you're not in line with where you want to be. That's what it is, right? So we just want to reframe that when you look at that. And again, I had one thing. Full disclosure again. Wow, this video is full of them. Make sure you hit subscribe. Click. All right, full disclosure. I had to register my business name. I had until May 5th to do so. I knew this back like in April. I don't know, when did I say? Like mid-April or so. Anyway, as of May 5th, on May 5th, I paid for and registered the Craft of Wellness as a company, business, in my area. So yay me, but I did do it on the very last minute. So I wonder what that's gonna end up being like. but I did it. Why did I do that? Well, I don't know. Because again, when it's happening, it's happening. What if it happens? Isn't that weird? To be fearful of what if it happens, right? Anyway, so I had to work through that. Task 3. Task 3 was all about your core beliefs about selves, your negative ones, and it took you back to when we did, I think it was week 1 or 2. When is it? It was in week 1. Oh, your affirmations and your core beliefs. So she wanted you to go back to that and review it, which I had. These were the ones that I was like, really? Some of the classic ones. Everyone will hate me. This is if I become an artist, right? I will hurt my family and friends. I will go crazy. And then she also had one that I will find out I'm gay. Or I might even find out I'm straight if I tune into my creativity. I'll be stuck straight if I'm gay. I'll feel too angry. I'll never have any real money. So those are the kind of affirmations that she had said that many people, or core beliefs, pardon me, that many people are going to have when they start their creative journey. That was interesting to me. And then because she made us go back to week 1 in the affirmation, there is that quote that I really like. Affirmations are like prescriptions for certain aspects of yourself you want to change. But affirmations are like prescriptions. And I remember when I first read that, if we go back to that video, that really made me go, oh, isn't that a moment? It really was. Because affirmations can be really hard and flaky and feel awkward and really hard to believe sometimes and get that buy-in. But when you think about affirmations actually being like a prescription to help heal, it's just that reset mindset, right? And then you're like, okay, well, I could do this if I know it's actually going to help and change and heal. So there you go to that. So that was something there. And then, of course, she had her creative affirmations and she wanted you to go through this. Cool thing is, I've actually been writing them out every day as part of my morning pages. You know, some of the things that I did was there's a divine plan of goodness for my work and myself. I'm willing to learn to let myself create. I'm willing to experience my creative energy. So those kind of things were really good. I did have my own, remember a couple of weeks before, I did have my own affirmations that I created. And the one that I say all the time is, I am safe to create. That's one thing that I'm learning. You know, like my difficulty learning how to play or playing. If you never felt safe as a child, how could you play? You need to feel safe to play. You need to engage with others to be able to play. I never had that opportunity. So that makes so much sense that I struggle to create if I don't feel safe. So I'm safe to create, and I actually know that now. That's pretty cool. That was something that I actually, you know what, if I was going to do a takeaway from the 12 weeks of the Artist Way, I am safe to create. Wow, that's beautiful. Happy with that, actually. Okay, and then come up with your own affirmations. And a couple weeks ago, I had come up with mine again. So it's just basically this, which really to me hits home. 5 ways I will continue to change on my self-care journey to my authentic self. And 1, my choices become more intentional. I have way more awareness. I have increased time in the vortex, which means I'm happy and I'm really engaged and I'm energetic and I'm vibrant and I'm invincible. 3, my world lens is more of gratitude rather than gratitude and abundance rather than, you know, suffrage and lack. 4, create more and more and greater ideas. And you should see all the ideas in my head. What? And 5, continue to do more unconventional things. So all of these things are going to continue to happen because I'm on my self-care journey to my authentic self. It is awesome. It is such a great feeling. I really like it. All right, so that's task 3. Pretty cool. Let me go back to week 12 here. That's right, you guys. This was the last of it. Okay, so task 4 was mend any mending. She was sewing, because actually she speaks about sewing in here. And I actually have a couple of things that I do need to sew. I have not done it, but I did buy a needle and thread. Yay me. Okay. Repot and pinched any hurting plants, you know, or like stuffed plants that need to spread out a bit. Because she talks about how your creativity does open like the experience of expansion and how that could be also kind of scary, right? And cause resistance. So if you actually use gardening or planting, working with plants, and you take a plant that's in a really tight pot, you know, it gets so entangled and hard in there, poor little guy can't breathe, and then you put it into a bigger pot, and just that whole process is actually really healing for yourself, because you're actually getting a mental picture now of what expansion can feel like, and it's safe, right, when you do it with a plant. So I thought that was pretty cool. I probably got a little bit more out of that one than what she was intending, but it worked good for me. Then she had the idea of a God jar, right? But I love it. Call it like your negative thoughts or your committee of assholes or the darkness or whatever you want, but put like your fears, your resentments, your anger, your hopes, your dreams, and your worries into a container, whether it's a jar, a box, whatever it may be. Just write them out and put them in there. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I have this beautiful jar in my office, and I'm going to use that. I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do with this jar? No, seriously. I had all these ideas about some plants or rocks or whatever, but when I saw this, I'm like, totally, this is what it's going to be. So what I'm going to do is every time I have a negative thought that I catch, a fear, a doubt, I'm going to write it out, and stick it in the jar. Done. The jar can hold it because I'm not containing that thought anymore. Right? So that's good. And then so task 8 is actually, putting stuff in it. So put your fears that the listed, like in task 1, put that in the jar. So I'm all over that. Task 8 is basically, what would you do if you had no fears? Like, be honest, what can you do? And basically, I just said, I want to do unconventional things. Like, I really do. I want to do things that I don't even know exist out there. Because there's so much out there that I want to see and do and be. And I can do, see, and be anything. I can have anything I want to be. I can do anything I want to be. I can be anything I want to be. So I'm really excited, and that's what I want to do for task 8. What would you like to create? I just want to do unconventional things. I want to help people, be inspirational, be motivational. I want to be out there creating. And then task 9, again, is about 5 people that you can talk to about your dreams. And I've got my people I've identified who are on my list. But you know what? That list is actually being added to because I'm starting to meet like-minded people. And we have these connections. And so I'm starting to realize, hey, wait a minute. You're a brand new person in my life. You're on my list. How cool is that? And then 10, reread this book. Share it with a friend. Well, I've been sharing it with you guys. This has been my artist way journey, right, to my authentic self. It's been quite an experience. Liked it, kind of didn't like it, but I did do some big takeaways, some aha moments, and I got something out of it. And I hope you guys do, and I really recommend you guys doing it. So it's The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. And thank you for being with me on my process here, right, on my journey to my authentic self. It's been really cool. And I'm going to be doing another book soon. Got a couple I'm narrowed down, and keep a lookout for other things that I'm going to be experiencing and talking about. So have a great day. And you know what? Choose to be happy, because life is not hard. Right? Fuck, I wish somebody would have told me that years ago. Life doesn't have to be hard. Life is actually easy. And you're going to find out, and you're getting lots of evidence that you got this. That you can go through hard things with ease. That it all works out in the end. That parking spot is just there for you to drive in. Seriously, it's going to happen. Did for me. Have a good day.